Well, hello there. Welcome to the Saturday night stream. Hope everyone's doing well. We have much to discuss, as it were. The decision has been made. We know who's buying Warner Brothers. Or do we? We have that to talk about, plus some more Marvel stuff, and got a new trailer we can check out. We got a fun one for you. So fill your cup and light your smoke, because it is Saturday night, and it's time to get nerdy. Welcome everybody to the Saturday Night Stream. What's going on? Hope y'all are ready for what I think will be a good stream, an informative stream, a thought-provoking stream, but most of all, a fun stream. What the fuck happened to my light? That's better. So what's going on, y'all? We got Spicy Dan, we got Randon, Brooks up in this bitch. Who else? And Quest, what's going on, man? The good Melvin is here. How is everyone doing? I hope you're doing well. How was the back half of everyone's week? Everyone doing all right? Anything fun happening? Hopefully, stuff that isn't fun is not happening. Did I do that right? Did I get the negatives right? Too few, too many. Anyway, you know what I fucking mean. So what's going on? Watch the new Five Nights at Freddy's film and the new Jiu-Jitsu. Damn, double feature. Both pretty good? That's good. From what I'm seeing online, people that think Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is good are in the minority at this point. Gotta catch up more and more of the Jujutsu Kaisen anime. Yeah, I saw a little something about some Jujutsu Kaisen earlier, but I don't remember what. It had to do with a couple different projects of that. I think leading up to the movie. I don't remember. I don't know anime like that. I don't know anime like that. So, damn, you're up late, Quest. I guess like fucking what, 2 in the morning right now? Over there? Across the pond? In Britain? Basically, sorcerers fighting curses. I can get down with that. It's the visuals of anime that throw me off. It's like the mouth. Just, I don't know what it is. It just triggers something in my brain and it bugs the fuck out of me. That's why I have such a hard time getting into anime. The video on Gundam yesterday? Nice. Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw the. Oh, yeah, 5 hours, 306. Goddamn. I fucked up my math. The video on Gundam, though. Oh, yeah, I think I saw. I do believe I retweeted that tweet of yours, now that I'm thinking about it. I remember seeing that on the Twitter. remember seeing it on the Twitters. There we go. Here we go. Shit, did I bookmark that motherfucker? Oh, that. Nope. Damn it, Jim. That's mo better. That's mo better, bro. Gundam stuff is pretty cool. Thinking some of the classic animes, they have Gundams that can transform into fighter jets, which is dope. Yes, there was. It's weird, like, because when I was a kid, I liked that. I remember the robots that turn into fighter jets. I fucking love those. I liked that, and I liked Voltron, which both are technically anime. And I loved those when I was a kid, but now this shit bugs me. I don't know why, but yeah. Gundam is the longest continuous franchise consistently since 79. Damn. Oh, Robotech. Yes, I loved Robotech. Thank you, Quest. Yes, Robotech. I fucking loved that show when I was a kid. And Voltron. And, the usual list for when I was a kid, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Voltron, Robotech, GoBots, and then, the usual others, Looney Tunes, Woody Woodpecker, Smurfs, X-Men. You'd love a Robotech live action? I mean, that would be sweet, but that'd be expensive as fuck, though. Actually, it depends. Well, obviously it's not the same, but they could probably do it for around what they did, oh, fuck. Brain farting on the movie now. It's the one with the kaiju and, like, the people that, had to drive the big robots. What the fuck was that called? What's his fuzz? Boyega was in the sequel. And it's not Battleship. Yeah, fucking Cavill's in the live action Voltron. When the fuck is that even supposed to come out? I'm pretty sure it's going to be on the Netflix. You mean 2025? Oh, it's on Prime? Yes, crap. When does it debut? Okay, next. Okay, so it comes out next year. Some people think it's going to go directly to Prime, but there is a chance it will go to the theater. Okay. Yeah, Henry Cavill up in that bitch. Come on. Oh, I thought you said 2026. You fucking clickbait bitches. Oh well, I got. I should know better. I got. Cool. What up, Griff? Spicy Dan back up in y'all. Pacific Rim. Thank you. God damn it. Yes. I said it was similar. I didn't say it's exact. damn it. So has everyone that is shown up, first of all, thank you. Greatly appreciate y'all. Purdy, please hit that there like button, if you be so kind. And if you're new, please also hit that there subscribe button and that bell. It'll really help me out. And I'd be ever so grateful. Sweeney is slowly becoming the new Pedro. She's going to be in everything, not to mention the new season of Euphoria will be dropping soon. Yeah. I mean, she's got that, what's that name of that movie she just did with Seyfried? The Handmaiden? Something like that? Yeah, in Euphoria, her character is going to be having an OnlyFans. Oh, thank you, Griff. Yes, also join the Discord, where the notifications for the streams are much more reliable than YouTube. Yes. Oh, shit, my God. Yeah, that's better. White Lotus Season 1 and Madam Web. Yeah, but yeah, so evidently her character is going to have an OnlyFans in this upcoming season. And Madam Sweeney is going to be in the buff quite a bit. Yep. Honestly, I have no issue with Sweeney becoming the new Pedro. I mean, that's fair, Brooke. Seems like she's well liked globally. Overall, yeah, but lately ever since that fucking jeans commercial, she's definitely had her detractors. So it's a must-watch show. I mean, kinda. I'd recommend watching it alone, though. You know what I'm saying? Pedro's kind of an ass, though. He's harmless. I mean, yeah, he can get very, what's the word? I don't know. He's not like a prick that I've ever seen. Never heard anyone say that. I know people were thinking he was weird for hugging on Vanessa Kirby all the time, but let's just say, well, this is not confirmed by any means, but there's always been word's been around that let's just say Vanessa Kirby was perfectly safe. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, she was fine. Keep away from glow sticks. I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, that's probably a good idea. Just in general. Oh yeah, alt-righters definitely hate Pedro. They just don't realize they probably have one more reason to hate him. That's all I'm saying. There we go. Wonder. Oh, I don't know. If they do, I'll shit on them for like a very short amount of time. But I'm not really in the mood to deal with those twat waffles tonight. So maybe one or two comments each, and then they're gone. That's how I'm rolling with it, guys. So if any of you are feeling like you want to whip your wrench out, swing it around. You know, a couple, 3 comments for each of them, and then take that wrench, twist it around their ear, and fling them the fuck out of here. Okay. But we gotta let them hang around long enough to get me some engagement. I mean, if they're gonna pop in here and be annoying, they can at least be useful. Those are my predictions for the future of Max. Ooh. Well, you know what, Griff? We're put a pin in that for now, because that's definitely one of the things that needs to be speculated upon later on when we get into the thumbnail subject. Chat, quick question for you. From y'all watch a lot of streams. Do any of you recall how big of a prick Amazon is? Because I really, really want to watch the Boys trailer with you guys, even if you've already seen it, and I've already watched it twice. But I want to watch it as a community and talk about it with you guys. But I don't remember how much of a prick Amazon is with this shit. You know, are they fucking copyright? Are they copyright happy? Is Amazon copyright happy? They're 1,000% keeping Max 2 flows of income. What up, Jay? It dropped? Yeah, it dropped. I have it pulled up on the TwitX and ready to fucking go, bro. I just don't know if Amazon is like hyper. You think they're chill? All right, good. Good. Yeah, what up, my guy? Justified. Up in this bitch. Hell yeah. Well, good. I'm glad they're chill, because I already said that. Never mind. There it is, right there. I'm looking at it. Do we want to open with that, chat? You guys, but before we do, but we probably will start with that. Is everyone, Nobody's doing well in this world of Monopoly. Well played, sir. Well played. Very well played, actually. Yeah. Anything fun happen over the last few days, guys? Like, in life? Not necessarily in the news, but in life. Anything cool going on with you? Not much. I mean, there's nothing wrong with not much, because that also means not much also means not a lot of bullshit either. So, meeting with a friend tomorrow in Bellevue. Are they okay? I mean, you probably don't mean the mental hospital. I'm guessing you probably don't, but you know. I don't know how many people even know that's a thing anymore. I feel like that's more a Gen X and early millennial reference than anything else. City of Bellevue. I figure. But I'm also a weirdo, so of course my mind went there. Just how it goes. Yep. I really need to put something up on this wall. Rich suburb city near Seattle. Oh, yes. Okay. You know, I think there's probably one around LA too. I know Beverly Hills is, but I think there's another Bellevue other than by Seattle. But yes, definitely. Now that you mention it, thank you. That Jaga did the memory. Yeah, that's the problem with the rich suburbs. Money is a big issue. You gotta be able to afford that shit. Oh, I bet it is. I bet it's really, really nice. All right, Chickadee Chat. Let's watch this motherfucking trailer.
Dead man walking.
All right. Here we go, chat. Here's hoping. Here's hoping that Amazon is not a bunch of buttholes. Are you ready to check out the trailer for the final season? Or actually, I should not the trailer, but the first trailer for the final season of The Boys, which, by the way, we got the trailer when we got the release date, April 8th. April 8th. Mark it down. Watch parties. But here we go. Amazon, don't be cruel. Oh, baby. What the fuck? Holy shit. Well, chat, what did you think about that trailer? Music might get you. Bro, that is so Kripke. Like, I mean, setting aside the fact of the big old supernatural reunion of the big three up in this bitch, that music is just so Kripke. So what you guys think? Does that that's a fucking good trailer, bro. Tell you what, it makes that season look pretty good to this guy. Oh, and we're really gonna tempt fate. We're gonna break this down a bit too. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yeah, that's a good fucking trailer, y'all. That's a really, really good trailer. Let's get into it though. I mean, obviously, mass carnage to begin with. Okay, so this looks like it's obviously some kind of prison camp thing. Got all these armed guards. Everyone is wearing a Homelander jacket. Is that supposed to be some kind of prison uniform? I mean, it's an interesting choice for a uniform of if they're in prison, or is this a commune? Okay, no, because that's armed guards, gated. That's the thing when they zoom by. Interesting. Maybe it's maybe it's a commune for Homelanders who are super paranoid about Starlighters. What do you guys think? What the fuck is that? Delta Dan just got back from a Christmas parade. Nice. Executive Judge. What's happening? What's up? What's up, y'all? Welcome in. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, we're just digging into this first trailer from the final season of The Boys. I'm trying to figure out if this is a prison or it's for like an armed commune for Homelander devotees. Because look, everyone's got the Homelander jackets. They got all the they're all wearing the same shit. They all have the jackets. They all have these flag pants on, stars and stripes on the left leg, field of blue on the right, Homelander shit on the back. They're all dressed the same. You think it's a prison, but this looks like concessions and shit. What the hell is it? Training camp? Oh, there you go. They have 3 Christmas parades. Nice. Could be a training camp too. Rough day on the rivals, huh, Griff? That sucks. All right. Well, this is definitely Homelander related. I think we can safely say that.
I'm gonna.
But see, this is why I wonder. Because this here. Is this here? Isn't it? Is it not the same? Okay, so big spotlight, sit on top of the thing, kind of looks like a train car. Okay, yep, big spotlight, bag. Yeah, it's the same motherfucking thing. So that's, I don't know. Again, maybe he's worried about people from the outside. But it says Correction Services Corporation. Firm but fair. What up, Bradley? How you doing, man? Good to see you. So that's what makes me, and he's facing in, not out. So I'm confused. I mean, this is the final season. Word is on the street that a fair chunk of motherfuckers gonna die. I think he's toast. I think they both are. I think these two are done. What do you guys think? I think these two are done at some point. Yes, she's extraordinarily hard to kill, but it's not impossible to kill her. You just dissect her, spread it all out, and then burn it like a vampire. Basically, that would work. Oh my god. Temperatures in y'all's house right now? Um, I don't know, but it's warmer than 62. That's fucking crazy. Is your furnace broken? Like, what the fuck, man? That sucks. I just gotta watch her do that again because that shit's hilarious. Obviously, she's wearing a wig. Why is she the press secretary? Hopefully, they have a lead up to that shit. That's interesting. She obviously looks like she's a fucking press secretary now, and we still have no fucking clue what her power set is. But obviously, she found a way to look normal because she was looking really fucked up at the end of season 4. Oh, there's going to be a lot of parodies of people in real life. Kripke, he's not shy about shitting on the people in power. Just saving some power gas. Okay. Oh no, there's no maybe about it. She injected herself with it. All right, and here's Homelander's kid, and he looks pretty fucking angry. And he's obviously about to try and shoot or destroy something, and he's obviously been in some shit because that's some blood all up on him, and with his power set, probably not his. So he's been up to, well, you can't necessarily say no good, but there's been some death around that motherfucker. I think we could say that for sure. And he obviously wants to fry the hell out of somebody or something. Because I think that's. Is that, God, why can't I ever remember her name? Cypher. No. The African American chick. That's from Detroit. What is her goddamn name? What are the Winchesters doing in this? Um, this is another Eric Kripke show. That's what the Winchesters are doing in this. You're all warm blooded over there? Oh. Mrs. Chillin's like that. I am not. Mrs. Chillin has that internal furnace. I do not. Matter of fact, in probably the not too distant future, I'm gonna be putting my hoodie on. Yeah, Marie. No, not her though. The super smart one. The one that was banging Cypher in the last season in Gen V. What is her fucking name? I think that's who this is right here. Or maybe not. Oh, wonder if it's Soldier Boy. So, take it back. I think it's Soldier Boy, and he's backing away. Can't tell, it's so small. Pause. Sister Sage, thank you. Thank you. But yeah, I'm wrong. I think that might be Soldier Boy, actually. When I stick my face right up and next to the monitor. Here is the biggest question from that entire trailer. Are you ready? Who the fuck is Homelander giving the Negan treatment to? Because you can't tell me that's not a bit of a ripoff from fucking The Walking Dead when Negan captured the main group and proceeded to kill people with Lucille. That's funny. That's awful nice. You had to take care of your wife like that, Delta Dan. Good job. Yeah. So that looks dope. What do you guys think? I'm now officially excited. That was a really good trailer. And April 8th. So it's not even super far into the year. It's a good way to bring in spring. His dad, Butcher or Kimiko? Very likely. What if it's his kid? What if he loses? What if he pulls a full Omni Man and that's his kid? Except he finishes the job. April 8th is your birthday? Wow, you get the boys season 5, the beginning of the boys season 5 on your birthday. Eric Kripke says happy birthday. Or Amazon. Somebody does. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah. What if he's going Omni Man on his kid? That could be interesting. Watch it be like fucking. Ooh, what if it's Starlight? That was super dad jokey there, bud. I know you meant it to be that way. But let me just say this. The 99% time, dry British humor doesn't come off quite the same way when it's being typed out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So speaking of shizos, we're gonna have some decisions to make next spring, chat. Just check this shit out. According to the discussing film, Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Invincible Season 4, and The Boys Season 5 will all release new episodes during the same time. What do you mean The Boys Wednesdays and Invincible Thursdays? Do we have a release date for Invincible? Oh, no, that doesn't say exactly when. So we still don't know exactly when. Oh, where'd Daredevil get pushed back to? Ooh. Well, the Marvel presence of CCXP was basically Disney Plus, but they showed some footage of CCXP. When do you premiere? When do you premiere? Yeah. Yeah, that's the original release date, but it got moved, didn't it? Damn it. Okay, so, all right. All right, so Daredevil starts on March 4th, and it's 8 episodes. So there won't be any crossover till April, and then we'll have crossover between, or overlap, I should say. Overlap is the better word. So we won't have overlap till April, and then we'll have the first half of The Boys season 5 running at the same time as the second half of Daredevil Born Again season 2. And then who the fuck knows when Invincible's coming out? There is no release date for Invincible at this point in time. But a lot of the speculation is March because that's when it's released before. So yeah, well, we're gonna have we're gonna have to make some decisions on them watch parties, boys. Like we're gonna have to figure that shit out because holy fooky. Monarch Legacy of Monsters season 2, isn't that on Apple though? I haven't watched that. I would have to consult other sources, as it were. We should be getting another trailer for Invincible season 4 pretty soon, I would imagine. I would hope. I mean, it is fucking December, bro. February 27th for Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Nice. Yeah, so hopefully we get another trailer for Invincible season 4 because we just got that cheeky one when they're in the fucking burger joint. So we need another. We need another one. You know what, chat? Now that I'm thinking about it, since Invincible and The Boys are both Prime shows, would they really have them going at the same time? Maybe. Maybe, baby. You know, we will have to see how that shit works out, but yeah. Yeah, we'll figure it out, but some decisions are going to have to be made next spring in terms of watch parties and how we're going to fucking get that shit done. For sure. But yes, definitely thought that was a dope trailer, and I am now 100% officially excited for The Boys season 5, even though I kind of already was already, no lies. Oh yeah. Y'all hear about this shit? Fallout season 2 premieres on your birthday, so your birthday will be a Prime Day, yes. Nice. Happy birthday, Quest. I'm sure y'all heard about this, but they're going to re-release Endgame in September of next year, ahead of Doomsday. Now, first of all, dope. That was a good watch in the theater the first time. It'll be a good watch this time. I'm pretty stoked about that. And it is now even more painfully obvious, in my opinion, that Doomsday is going to kind of, sort of, basically be a direct sequel to Doomsday. I mean, what happens at the end of Doomsday? Steve and Peggy. How long have we been having rumors about Steve staying with Peggy being a bad thing for the multiverse? Months. There's already, I don't know if it's speculation or rumor, that last scene in Endgame with Steve and Peggy dancing has a pretty good chance of being the very first scene in Doomsday. And there were those rumors about a scene being filmed in Peggy and Steve's house with those two and Loki and Doom. It's all kind of falling together, chat. But either way, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're setting it up to not just refresh our memories, but to, like, you know, they're setting up how they're going to tie it all together by releasing them like that. I think that's pretty obvious. What do you guys think? First of all, do you think it's cool? You gonna watch it? You gonna go watch Endgame in the theater again? Yep. Avengers Endgame, September 25th, 2026. Hell yeah. Do. Releasing in gaming theaters again will help generate lots of hype for Doomsday among normies. There's a pretty good chance of it. Endgame has to reclaim his number one throne. I mean, that'd be dope. Question is, will the hype be worth it in the end? I 100% believe that it will. Maybe I'm in a bit of a shell mode, but oh, I have faith in the Russos. Inside the MCU, outside of a couple little things, the biggest one being Professor Hulk, uh, inside the MCU, they're undefeated. Outside the MCU, they don't seem to be anywhere near as good, but they work magnificently in the MCU system. I mean, Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame. Probably the most flawed one of those was Endgame, if you really think about it. It's not like Endgame sucked, but it definitely was the one with the most flaws. Winter Soldier is just the best thing that Marvel Studios has ever put on a movie screen. But yeah, the Russos still have a McFeely. I don't know what the fuck Marcus's problem is, but we have the Russos, we have the McFeely, we have RDJ, and we have Feige. That's the recipe for the best shit we got in the entire Infinity Saga. I have never doubted that. I've been given no reason to doubt that. And I shall continue to have no doubt in them. Yep. That's how I sees it. That is how I sees it. All that shit. So that's all in the thing that I already have pulled up. That one. All right. We got a little more Marvel-y stuff before we get into. Oh yeah, that one. All right, chat. Endgame was the last really good for Marvel. Not as great. I would put No Way Home up there. It's probably the only one I'd put up there. No Way Home was magnificent. Yep. I know it's less than an hour, chat, but I kind of already have to pee. Oh shit! My bad, but it is what it is. I'm gonna go tank. I'll be right back. Music. Don't leave. I will not be gone that long. I promise. Okay. Okay. Cool. So. Actually, let's do it. Hold on. Being dumb for a second, chat. Calm down. All right, there we go. And then we'll do that. Just got to find something. Endgame is basically the end of a golden age. Yes, it didn't have to be, but some shit happened. Iger happened. COVID happened. JPEG happened. Stuff happened. No Way Home was Sony Studio, though, dude, which could be part of the reason why it is. No. Let me remind you of the SSU. The reason No Way Home was that good was because of Marvel Studios. I submit for evidence Morbius, Madam Web, Craven. Even though I liked it, Venom, definitely Venom 2, even though I didn't mind it. Also Venom 3. It was not Sony. It was definitely not Sony. All right, now I gotta find it. Okay, chat. So once again, Chris Gore is dropping Marvel info in regards to Doomsday trailers. Remember, he's the one that came out and had the description of it, said it was going to be big, said there's going to be a shit ton of Doom and a shit ton of action. Y'all remember that shit? Well, he has more news about Doomsday trailer, or in this case, trailers.
Alan there are some wild Avengers Doomsday rumors. And let me start with one I heard last night at the party we were at.
Uh-oh.
A person in marketing who told me this rumor that he heard that I could not verify through my sources at Marvel, but I will reveal now. And we're going to get, I mean, there's no doubt we're going to get a look at Robert Downey Jr. As Doom very soon. But here's a rumor that I heard that there are 3 trailers for Avengers Doomsday. They are all different and they all connect. And they will be released one a week, starting with Avatar, Fire, and Ash. And then, so it'll release that. It'll release in front of Avatar, Fire, and Ash 3 weeks in a row. There will be a different trailer for Avengers Doomsday, and in some way they connect. What it's being done to kind of encourage people to see Avatar multiple times. Now, I've got A-list, so I can see up to 4 movies a week. I could book a ticket, walk in, see the trailer, and walk out, which is probably what I'll do. But this is a crazy rumor about Avengers Doomsday, that there are 3 completely different trailers. Now, it would not be out of the possibility, like, Marvel's been very innovative with the they've trained audiences to stay through the credits. You've got your post-credit, you've got your credit end, beginning credit scene, mid-credit scene, post-credit scene, little joke. People expect it now. And so maybe to do 3 trailers, rolling out 3 in a row, 1 a week in front of Avatar, Fire, and Ash, that somehow connect, it would not be out of the realm of possibility. Now, also,
69.
Some photos were snapped. This is from X, from
Okay,
MCM
yeah.
Film
We already
News.
know about this shit.
Confirmed teams in Avengers Doomsday: the Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, X-Men, Captain America's team. Now, I don't know who this apparently was at.
Here's the thing. You meant Sony Pictures. That's Sony Pictures is the studio. It's a division. Sony Pictures is the studio. Now they actually are missing one here, and I've noticed a lot of people, except for the one. Remember we talked about this on Wednesday. They're missing the 3 Wakandans, with Shuri, M'Baku, and well, technically Namor isn't a Wakandan, but he comes from Wakanda Forever. So yeah, it's Wakanda or Talocan, but it's basically Wakanda. Because remember, he and Shuri made up at the end.
An event in John Delarosse from Pop Culture and Gaming. Make Marvel masculine again. So, but here are the teams. This apparently, these photos leaked from.
By the way, did he get canceled for saying that? Because I remember other people saying it and getting canceled and losing friends.
Yeah, John, you should be canceled. How dare you say something like that? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's the guy.
John. Yeah. Anyways, so here are the 4 teams that are pitted against each other.
Okay. Well, we've known these.
We know the Thunderbolts. We know the Fantastic Four.
We know the X-Men.
We know the X-Men here. Here is Cap's team, consisting of Thor, Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, Tom Hiddleston as Loki joins the team, Anthony Mackie as Captain America, Danny Ramirez as Falcon, and Simu
and my new best friend. Yeah,
your new best friend.
Is this?
As Shang-Chi.
Are you gonna?
These are the
okay.
Apparently,
yeah, it's all extra shite. So chat. By the way, that's not it on the rumor stuff. Did I bookmark any of that? Bear with me, chat. Oh, you know what? I didn't even have that turned up that loud. My bad. Oh, quick little side note. Man of Tomorrow starts filming next April, and Batman 2 starts filming next May. Okay, so there we go. All right, so according to Mr. Chris Gore, we're getting not one, not two, but 3 Doomsday trailers that are all different and also connect. And they'll all be attached to the beginning of Fire and Ash. So for the first 3 weeks of Fire and Ash, according to that marketing person that Chris Gore talked to at a party, who frankly may have been fucked up when he was telling Chris Gore that, pretty decent chance it's party in LA. Might have been fucked up on 3 different things if you think about it. It's a fucking LA party. Anyway, that Chris did say he couldn't confirm with any of his other sources. So this is a pretty rumor, that he's decided to pass along. But, yeah. So starting the first weekend of Fire and Ash, there's 1 trailer. Then week 2, a second trailer, but connects to the first one. And then week 3, a third trailer that connects to the 2 previous trailers. That's nuts. Literally no one has ever done that before. But that's how Marvel became Marvel, by doing shit no one ever fucking did before. You know? And fucking Disney will be all for it because, again, well, A, they're banking on the popularity of at least the Avengers title. They're banking that still has cachet. In order to get more butts and seats for Fire and Ash. Now, even if people do what Gore said he might do, which is walk in, watch the trailer, and walk out, they still got that money. That ticket still got sold. Good enough for Disney. Right? So, yeah, according to Chris Gore, one more time. Beginning, because Fire and Ash comes out, 17th, 18th, something like that? 18th, yeah. Yeah, 3 straight weeks. The week it premieres, that'd be Christmas weekend and then New Year's weekend. New Year's weekend also being when the season finale of Stranger Things hits theaters. Yeah. So that what do you guys think? You think that's actually real? And you think if it is real, they're going to be able to pull that off, and will it work? Will it generate hype having 3 connected trailers? Now, when it was just 1 trailer, I wanted it to be longer than your average teaser. I didn't want it to be a minute, but if they're doing 3, those actually need to be shorter trailers. If you think about it, that'd be 3 minutes worth of, info once you string them all together. So if this is true, I'm betting they're probably 55, 60-second trailers. Maybe 65. That'd be about it. Because you can give away a lot of shit in 3 minutes, bro. So it's a bit of a risk if you think about it. kind of a risky move. But then again, Marvel's in a place where they kind of need to take some risks. They need to go balls to the whiz-alls. You know? But so that, what do you guys think? Brooke thinks it will work out. Yeah, it could. Kind of, sort of, just a wee bit like needs to. If you think about it, I'm just gonna have to. I'm not gonna be able to fucking buy tickets to Fire and Ash 3 consecutive weekends. That's just not gonna happen. I'm gonna have to hope for, their generosity to put them online after, like, say, like the Monday after premieres. That way they get a shit ton of the money they're going to get from people showing up for the trailer. And then it won't matter less, and it'll matter less after that because the big weekend money will be gone, or brought in, I should say. That'd be very kind of them to release those the Monday after, each weekend begins. So trailer 1 premieres in Fire and Ash on the 18th, and then it premieres online on the 22nd, and so on for the following 3 weeks. That would be dope. If not, we're gonna have to hope for leaks, boys. We're gonna have to hope for leaks if it don't work. If they don't do that, I think that'd be kind of a smart move to do that, though, honestly. And also, being honest, frankly, selfishly, I really want them to do that so I don't have to go trying to dig up fucking leak trailers. It's a pain in the ass. But if that's what I gotta do, that's what I gotta do. However, Chad, first of all, any more thoughts on that? Any more thoughts on what Chris Gore, the rumor, very rumor, because remember, he got it from one person in the marketing department at a party in LA, where I'd say the odds are fairly good that said person from the marketing department was fucking trashed on something or a couple 3 somethings, because again, LA. And again, because Chris Gore also admitted that he couldn't confirm it with any of his other sources. So, super rumor chat. But what do you think about it? Assuming it's true. How do you feel? Think it's cool? Think it's dope? Think it's dumb? What do you think? What dost thou think, chat? What dost thou think? Lay down on the couch and not fuck with Daddy's desk while he's streaming. What you should do. That would be kind of a waste. What do you mean? Oh, you don't want to go see Avatar 3 times to see all the trailers? Yeah, I know. But they're hoping a shit ton of people do. Well, see, here's what you do, Brooke. You go see Avatar on a premium screen the first weekend. And then you just, in order to see the next 2 trailers, you get, fuck. What do they call it, like, the cheap seats during the day and whatever? God damn, I cannot think of words tonight. It's kind of aggravating. What do they call that? Buddy, you're blocking my mouse. You're blocking my mouse. Thank you. Tuesday they have movie tickets on discount. True. What is it? Matinee. That's it. See the first trailer in the big screen, and then you go check out. Then you go to 2 matinees. You wouldn't want to have to see it once, but it probably won't do that there anyway. You don't think? I feel like they would do that worldwide. Honestly, you're not seeing Avatar even once, Jay. Yeah, it's a big risk. You guys want to see my big kitty? Hey, hi. Here's my big. Ow! Look at this chunk. It's definitely a risk. Definitely a risk. But there's some conflicting info that's come out now. As of today, and this is according to the Beyond Reporter, the Doomsday trailer will be released this Thursday. Now, here, this is from this morning, 12 hours ago. Well, this morning in my time zone anyway. So by this Thursday, that means this upcoming Thursday, the 11th. Sounds like a waste of Disney money to have 3 different trailers. Bro, there are reports out there saying they have 30 plus that they're just going to stretch out over the next year. They're fixing to drop a fuck ton of marketing money. Like, this is going to be, there's reports out there that this is going to be the biggest, most ambitious marketing campaign of any comic book movie ever. +30 trailers. So they, even if what Gore is saying is true, 3 in December, that still leaves them, and it said 30 plus, but let's just say 30. That still leaves them 27 trailers to drop, January to December 18th next year. Or 17th, whatever. That's 2 a month, and a couple months that get 3. If you think about it, break it down by average. They have 27 trailers to release in 12 months next year. That's 2 a month with a remainder of 3. And that's assuming that this 3 trailer thing is true, which, according to the Beyond Reporter, we're getting one on the 11th. Now, he was only saying 1. And he's saying nothing about a series of them coming out this month. So, that's interesting. And even assuming that's true, he then let us know that about this, that the Supergirl trailer will be released online December 11th, the same day as the Doomsday trailer. That's a ballsy move by DC. Pitting Supergirl against Doomsday. Depends how long they are. Doesn't say if they're full trailers. Well, if they're doing 3 in a row, they have to almost be teasers, like 55 to 60 seconds long, because that's basically 3 minutes of footage, which is essentially a full-length trailer. A long full-length trailer, actually. Even full-length trailers tend to be about 2.5, 2:45. Yeah. But yeah, so first of all, according to Beyond Reporter, Doomsday trailer on the 11th. And then, according to the Beyond Reporter, DC Studios is fixing to drop the Supergirl trailer the same fucking day. Which, again, pretty ballsy move, but also, in my opinion, pretty fucking dumb. You're really going to put Supergirl up against an Avengers movie. That's a choice. Sounds like they learned from the lead up to Alien Earth. Maybe. I mean, the way they marketed Alien Earth had me hyped up for that show, and then it paid off. That was a fucking good show. Yeah. Okay, it's fucking chilly in here. I'm grabbing my hoodie real quick. Woo! Paid off until the end. Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me. So, we have conflicting reports on when we're getting Doomsday trailer. We have conflicting reports on how many, because again, Beyond Reporter only mentioned one. And then, assuming that's true, DC's trying to drop the Supergirl trailer the same day as Doomsday. Personally, I don't think that's a very good idea. That's a good way to get your trailer fairly ignored, except by anybody who's a diehard. Yeah. I don't think that's smart. Don't think that's smart at all. And then he also says yes, possibly scheduled to be released on the same day and perhaps at the same time. And even more importantly, an official announcement will be made tomorrow. So there allegedly, we'll see how accurate that ends up being, of course. But if Beyond Reporter is correct, not only will we see both the Supergirl and the Doomsday trailers next Thursday, allegedly we're going to get an official announcement about said trailer drops, or at least one of them. He didn't say who's doing the announcing, if it's one or both. Yeah. So, I don't know about y'all. I'll be keeping my eyeballs out for that announcement. That's for damn sure. Either. You know what? Don't care. Okay. Supergirl or Doomsday, what trailer to watch first? Choices. Exactly. And how many people are... And only like diehard nerds are going to watch both. I think that most of the general audience is going to only choose one or the other, and I'm pretty sure they're going to choose Doomsday. Pretty sure they're going to choose the Doomsday. Supergirl's going to get pretty ignored by the normies. I imagine the odds are definitely in that favor. 100%. Odds are in favor of that faux show. Faux motherfucking show. So, any further thoughts on the trailers before we get into the nitty gritty of tonight's discussion, chat? First of all, who do you think's right? You think Gore's right? You think Beyond Reporter's right? Maybe both of them? Maybe it'll be the lead-off trailer is actually the 11th, but it'll be the plan. Which actually almost might be smarter. Because you drop, let's combine them. Let's say Beyond Reporter and Chris Gore are both correct, in a way. Obviously, it's a bit conflicting because Gore says trailer 1 first weekend of Avatar, and Beyond Reporter says, no, odd trailer the week before. You'd probably choose Supergirl, but only because something new, whereas Doomsday is just another Marvel. I'm sure there are people who would probably think that way. That's true. I just don't think there are very many of them. You need love. You need love. You don't mean in a negative way? Oh, no, I know you don't. You need love's big boy. Huh? My big baby. Not scratching your butt. Get that out of your head. Stop sticking your ass up. We're not in a club. You're not hot. But what if it's a combination of the two? I think that might actually be the smartest idea. Because you drop the first one a week before the movie. And when you drop the first one, that's when you let people know that it is kind of a trailer trilogy. And that the next two you'll be able to see in front of Avatar. That might be the move, honestly. Is a combination of these two reports. Because you have a better chance of getting people into Avatar to see the second trailer if the first one's badass and already exists and have people thinking like, shit, I gotta go see Avatar next week now. I got to know what happens next because that first trailer was fucking sick. You know what I mean? What do you guys think about that? No, I'm not even saying that's a possibility. I'm just saying it's an idea. And I think it's a better idea than what could be happening. Well, Fire and Ash, there's a runtime. What's the runtime? It's fucking long. Yeah, 3 hours and 15 minutes. Which is probably about it. Which is probably about how long Secret Wars is. Actually, I think Secret Wars will probably end up being closer to 3.5. At least it should be. But yeah, 3 hours and 15 minutes for Avatar. They should do what they did in the comics, Marvel versus DC, but it would probably be as bad as AVP. Delta Dan, you're back. Well, I'm glad you're back. Did Marvel's go? Is that because Marvel's was ass? Are you back because Marvel's is shitty to play this evening? I would love eventually a Marvel DC crossover. I honestly think that would be super dope. But DC is they're not there yet. Even with Marvel's downturn, DC is still not there yet, and they definitely won't be there yet. I'm pretty sure after Brand New Day, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. Like, think about it. Marvel's next 3 cinematic features: Spider-Man Brand New Day, Avengers Doomsday, and Avengers Secret Wars. DC's next 3, well, at least Guns DC's next 3 releases. Supergirl, Clayface, and Man of Tomorrow. And then after Man of Tomorrow, you get the Batman Part 2 by Matt Reeves, which is DC, but DC Elseworld. As far as DCU goes, again, Supergirl, Clayface, Man of Tomorrow. Spider-Man, Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars. Sorry, Gun Glazers, DC is not fucking there yet, bro. Like, there's literally no comparison, like, release for release between these. Supergirl, Clayface, Man of Tomorrow. Spider-Man, Brand New Day, Avengers Doomsday, and Avengers Secret Wars. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Watch the Batman Part 2, which comes out after all of them, outperform all of them. Like, it'll make more than Supergirl. It'll definitely make more than Clayface. And it'll make more than Man of Tomorrow. Hell, it might make more than Supergirl and Clayface combined. And won't Gunn look stupid at that point in time? Fucking Supergirl and Clayface come out in 26. Man of Tomorrow comes out summer 27. And then the Batman 2 comes out October 27 and just eats the DCU's lunch. Clayface will probably make 300 million tops. Probably right around there. Maybe Supergirl and Clayface combined might make a little more than the Batman Part 2. But not by much. Not by much at all. So yeah, there's literally no comparison like movie per movie. DC is not ready for a crossover with Marvel yet. Not for quite some time. Yeah, I think Gunn is about to get embarrassed at the theater by Matt Reeves. Real talk. Especially with ScarJo and that motherfucker. Ooh! First I was upset that Zoe Kravitz wasn't going to be in this, and now I'm less upset. The only good thing to come out of the Batman is Penguin, so you have low hopes for the Batman too. I will say, the first time I watched the Batman, I was like, eh. But I've rewatched it a couple times since, and I like it a lot more on the rewatch. Like, honestly. Like, I liked it better the second time I watched it. And the third time I watched it, I liked it even better than the second time I watched it. That's one of those movies, at least for me. You kind of got to give multiple shots at it, and then you're like, oh, you know what, I kind of get it now. I kind of get it now. But yeah, seriously though, Batman 2 is going to... the Reeves verse is going to eat the Gunn versus lunch. I think. What do you guys think? Regardless of how big a fan you may or may not be of the Batman and how much confidence you may or may not have in the Batman 2 as something that you would personally enjoy. Setting personal feelings aside, what do you think? You think Batman 2 is just going to eat the DCU's lunch or what? I think it will. But yeah, Penguin was a magnificent show. Colin Farrell is fucking amazing. We could have done a better job with the Batmobile. It just looked like a drag racer. The Tumbler is way better. Yeah, they definitely could have done a better job with the Batmobile. I mean, I kind of like the like modified pseudo like late 70s, early 80s Camaro look, but that's just me. I like that style of muscle car. I thought it was cool. So yeah, it definitely could have been better. I will not argue that. I don't know if the Tumbler is way better, but it is cool. I like the Tumbler. Although, you know, I can get just a wee bit old school when it comes to Batman. I prefer the Batmobile to be like a car, but don't get me wrong, I did like the Tumbler. Tumbler is dope. Batmobile from the Batman animated series is probably your favorite. Well, I mean, the Batman the animated series was took a lot of its vibe from the Keaton Batman of '89. I mean, it has him in the traditional, gray and blue suit in the animated series, but there's a lot of Tim Burton from the Michael Keaton Batman vibes going on in that fucking show, and I ain't mad about it. Don't get me wrong, I'm totally down for that. But I'm just saying, like that's the aesthetic they took for that show, like 100%. Yeah, yeah. What the fuck were we talking about before that? Oh yeah, when trailers are coming out. The '89 Batmobile is an icon. Oh, 100 fucking percent, bro. 100 fucking percent. Pretty sure it was based off a Corvette. I feel like it was based off a Stingray. I'm like 98% sure on that one. Like 98% sure. Tumbler is basically a tank. Yeah, kinda. Batwing from the Dark Knight trilogy was cool. My favorite is the one from the Arkham Origins. Yeah. And the one from Batman v Superman. That one was pretty cool. Honestly, though, I love the Keaton one. I like the traditional. I like the traditional. Fucking goddamn words. I like how they kept it traditional. There we go. There it is. I like how they kept it traditional. It was an Impala? Really? I swear it looked like a fucking Stingray. Damn. 67 Impala. Nice. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like me an Impala too. What does 67 Impala look like when it's not a Impala? Okay. All right. Wait a minute. Okay, I can definitely see the Batmobile lines in this, but is this not also very similar to the Supernatural car? Okay, now I gotta fucking. It also a 67 Impala. What do you know? I wonder if Kripke picked that because he's a Batman fan. How fun would that be? See, I had mixed feelings on the Tumbler at first. Honestly, I wanted like a Batmobile, like a car. It grew on me, but yeah, like first time I saw that bitch, and when I saw Batman Begins, I was like, mean, it's cool, but I'm not sure how cool it is. I mean, as a vehicle, the Tumbler's cool as a vehicle. I have no idea what the one from BVS was based off of at all. I mean, I can find out. But yeah, it took. I like the Tumbler as a vehicle, but it took me a minute to like it as a Batmobile, if that makes any sense. Okay, that's not based on a car either. It's not based on a car. It's just there it is. Oh, and by the way, I'm reading about this, and it did have a brief cameo in Suicide Squad, so it is the same one. It's the same one. But yeah, it's not actually based off a pre-existing car. It's just its own fucking thing. Which, in and of itself, is pretty fucking cool, honestly. Well, evidently, the military doesn't have as much money as Bruce Wayne. Tumbler made sense for the tech being the origin of the Batmobile we had previously, as it was a prequel. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Again, I'm not saying Tumbler's not dope. I like the Tumbler. I just prefer my Batmobiles to look like a car. But that's just me. That's just me. It's just that no one in the military is as smart as Bruce. Probably the smartest hero in the DC universe. I mean, he's definitely up there. I think Mr. Terrifics might be right there. Maybe. I don't know. Should I ask ChatGPT? Considered Oh, okay. All right, so according to ChatGPT, the overall most intelligent character in DC is Brainiac, which makes sense. He has 19 PhDs. How do you do that? He stole the time turner from Hermione Granger because Harry Potter's WB. So he pulled the She-Hulk, broke through the fourth wall on HBO Max, jumped through the app, went into Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, and stole the time turner, and then went back and got all his PhDs, and then went and gave it back. You hated that the bike was part of it, but it looked awesome transitioning. Sucked they destroyed the tumbler. See, I thought that was dope. A built-in bat cycle. I liked it. But yeah. So according to the chat, Jippet, Brainiac is the smartest overall, which, if you think about it, I guess makes sense. Lex Luthor is usually regarded as the smartest human in DC. Batman is the most strategically intelligent. Mr. Terrific, labeled the second smartest man on Earth behind only Luthor. Metron. Okay. So, according to Chat Jippet, if you combine canonical statements, writer comments, and fan consensus, top intellect, Brainiac, smartest human, Luthor, with Mr. Terrific right there, and best strategist, Batman. I mean, that's true. Not even Batman's plans can beat Batman's plans. Yeah. Oh, nice. Thanks, Brooke. Appreciate that. All right, chat. Any more digression, or shall we get into the main thing? Are we ready to get into the main thing? Because we got a fair chunk to get into, y'all. We have a fair chunk. And there's a whole timeline to follow. Okay? Now, hopefully I bookmarked it mostly in order so I won't fuck up the timeline. Like Steve Rogers may have done. I got to be better than Steve. Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there, Brooke. So, chat. They do. But, again, we'll get there. We will circle back to that. Brennan! Dude, how many times do I have to tell you? You don't have to apologize for being late. I'm just grateful you showed up at all. Also, with it. Actually, you didn't miss that much. A little bit of Marvel talk. Honestly, I would say the Boys trailer was kind of actually more fun than the Marvel trailer talk. To be perfectly honest, like I'm ready. All right, we're gonna digress just a little more, chat. Like real talk, I'm ready for like actual solid something to talk about with Marvel. Like, rumors are fun, and don't get me wrong, I love rumors. I love speculating about the rumors. I like trying to put shit together and figure it out, although I generally have to rely on other streamers to do that, to help me out with that, because they're all smarter than me about this shit. Anyway, one of your flaws, you apologize for everything. Fair. I actually tend to do that a lot too, now that I think about it. But yeah. Just, I totally understand the need to apologize. I really do. I get it. But, just keep in the back of your mind that at least here, it's not necessary, unless you're a dick. But being late is not being a dick. So, keep in the back of your head. But, if it makes you feel better to apologize, I respect that. I totally respect it. Where was I? Oh, yeah. I'm ready for solid information from Marvel. Like real talk. Like I'm to that point. I'm ready. I mean, I still like the rumors. I still like talking about the rumors. I still like speculating about what they might mean. Yeah, new Boys trailer dropped today. Premieres April 8th of next year. I'm excited. But yeah, I'm ready for something solid from Marvel, like something official. I'm ready. All right. You know what, chat? There's a lot to talk about, so I'm going to take one more pee break. And then we'll get all up in it. I'll be right back. Don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave. Exactly. All right. All right, chat. Here we motherfucking go. Y'all ready? Straddle up. Okay, so we're going to travel back in time to Thursday. Because Thursday's when shit really started moving. Because up until Thursday, many of us were convinced Paramount was in the lead. Not everybody. Not everybody. But a lot of us, myself included, thought Paramount pretty much had it in the bag regardless. But then this happened. We go back in time. Update on the Warner Brothers sale. Netflix has made the highest bid to buy them so far. Now, y'all remember how we talked about that Warner Brothers has what's called a fiduciary responsibility. In other words, they're legally bound to take the highest offer, which is why Twitter sued Musk and to force him to buy because he made the highest offer, and it was their responsibility to the shareholders to make sure they got that biggest payday available. So Netflix has made the highest bid to buy them so far. This was as of Thursday. Anon prominent filmmakers sent a letter to Congress warning that Netflix buying Warner Brothers would quote-unquote hold a noose around the marketplace. Some insiders claim Netflix would only give Warner Brothers films a 2-week theatrical window. Another source denied this. Paramount accused of Warner Brothers of an unfair bidding process and appearing to favor Netflix's offer. Paramount has offered $5 billion to Warner Brothers if a signed deal with them fails to close. Paramount's bid is partially funded by Middle Eastern sovereign wealth. Comcast wants to combine Universal with Warner Brothers and HBO. Warner Brothers asked for all companies to submit new bids today. Okay, so if I recall correctly, that would have been a third round of bidding. All right. So that was surprising news that Netflix had come in over the top. And then so they had them submit their bids, finally turned in the task and waiting for judgment and payment. Nice. Let's go. Get that money. Get that money. Get your bread up. So yesterday, that was as of Thursday. So yesterday, like within a matter of hours of those third bids being submitted, we got this news. And this actually comes from Netflix. This is their thing. I don't know why they did it in the third person, but okay. Anyway, here we go. Today, Netflix Netflix Inc. and Warner Brothers Discovery Inc. announced they have entered into a definitive agreement under which Netflix will acquire Warner Brothers, including its film and television studios, HBO Max, and HBO. The cash and stock transaction is valued at $27.75 per Warner Brothers share, subject to a collar's detail below, with a total enterprise value of approximately $82.7 billion, with an equity value of $72 billion. The transaction is expected to close after the previously announced separation of Warner's Global Networks division, Discovery Global, into a new publicly traded company, which is now expected to be completed in Q3 2026. Okay, so first of all, you remember how it's been out there forever that Zaslav wanted 30 a share? He took this offer at $27.75, 2.25 below what the White Other Party was asking for. Interesting. And now, and again, the transaction is expected to close after the previously announced separation of the Global Networks division into a new publicly traded company, which is now expected to be completed in Q3 of 2026. So really, the sale won't even be completed until the spinoff. And Q3 is basically August into fall. Okay, so that's the soonest this will be finalized. Between the two, we'll get to the rest. This acquisition brings together two pioneering entertainment businesses, combining Netflix's innovation, global reach, and best-in-class streaming service with Warner Brothers' century-long legacy of world-class storytelling. Beloved franchises, shows and movies such as The Big Bang Theory, The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, The Wizard of Oz, and the DC Universe will join Netflix's extensive portfolio, including Wednesday, Money Heist, Bridgerton, Adolescence, and Extraction, creating an extraordinary entertainment offering for audiences worldwide. Our mission has always been to entertain the world, said Ted Sarandos, co-CEO of Netflix, by combining Warner Brothers' incredible library of shows and movies, from timeless classics like Casablanca and Citizen Kane, to modern favorites like Harry Potter and Friends, with our culture-defining titles like Stranger Things, K-pop Demon Hunters, and Squid Game. We'll be able to do that even better, entertaining the world, he means. Together, we can give audiences more of what they love and help define the next century of storytelling. This acquisition will improve our offering and accelerate our business for decades to come, continued Greg Peters, co-CEO of Netflix. Warner Brothers has helped define entertainment for more than a century and continues to do so with phenomenal creative executives and production capabilities. With our global reach and proven business model, we can introduce a broader audience to the worlds they create, giving our members more options, attracting more fans to our best-in-class streaming service, they both called it that now, strengthening the entire entertainment industry, and creating more value for shareholders. Today's announcement combines two of the greatest storytelling companies in the world to bring to even more people the entertainment they love to watch the most, said David Zaslav, president and CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery. For more than a century, Warner Brothers has thrilled audiences, captured the world's attention, and shaped our culture. By coming together with Netflix, we will ensure people everywhere will continue to enjoy the world's most resonant stories for generations to come. Complementary strengths and assets. Warner Brothers Studios are world-class, with Warner Brothers recognized as a leading supplier of television titles and filmed entertainment. HBO and HBO Max also provide a compelling complementary offering for consumers. Netflix expects to maintain Warner Brothers' current operations and build on its strengths, including theatrical releases for films. Now, Hollywood's been shitting bricks over that one. Because remember in that first post, they're like, they're only going to release Warner Brothers shit in 2-week intervals. But it says Netflix expects to maintain Warner Brothers' current operations and build on its strengths, including theatrical releases for films. So it would appear, at least for now, Netflix is not immediately going to do something like that. But there's more. By adding the deep film and TV libraries and HBO Max programming, Netflix members will have even more high-quality titles from which to choose. This also allows Netflix to optimize its plans for consumers, enhancing viewing options and expanding access to content. And they forgot the last sentence, while giving us a reason to jack up our prices even more. I fixed it for them. A stronger entertainment industry. See, this is where this is where a lot of Hollywood vehemently disagrees. By uniting Netflix's member experience and global reach with Warner Brothers' renowned franchises and extensive library, the company will create greater value for talent, offering more opportunities to work with beloved intellectual property, tell new stories, and connect with a wider audience than ever before. By offering members a wider selection of quality series and films, Netflix expects to attract and retain more members, drive more engagement, and generate incremental revenue and operating income. The company also expects to realize at least $2 to $3 billion of cost savings per year by the third year, and expects the transaction to be accretive to GAAP earnings per share by year 2. Later, man. Have a good night. Netflix sub increase, especially the ad-free cost. Oh, yeah, definitely that. That top tier is about to get ridiculous. All right, chat. This gets a little businessy here, but stick with me. Damn. Under the terms of the agreement, each Warner Brothers shareholder will receive $23.25 in cash and $4.50 in shares of Netflix common stock for each share of Warner Brothers common stock outstanding at the closing of the transaction. The transaction values Warner Brothers Discovery at $27.75 per share, implying a total equity value of approximately $72 billion and an enterprise value of approximately $82.7 billion. Blah, blah. You know what? Fuck all that shit. Okay, here's the important part. The transaction is expected to close in 12 to 18 months. So the split's going to happen next fall, which is 10 months. So in a year, so in December of next year, or possibly all the way out to June of 2027, that's when this will get done. And yada, yada, yada. Okay. So that was Netflix's statement. Got a little businessy and a whole lot of fluff, really. But that was what they said. Now, get a few more details. I'm not sure from Variety. I didn't bother to find that one. Okay, that's just a direct quote from that, which I already read, so I don't need that one. Okay, so a few little statements about stuff. Okay, so some more quotes, kind of expanding on some of the stuff that we just read. Okay, so this is from Variety. Ted Sarandos expects to keep Warner Brothers films in theaters, but adds, I think over time the windows will evolve to be much more consumer-friendly, to be able to meet the audience where they are quicker. I'd say right now you should count on everything that is planned on going to the theater through Warner Brothers will continue to go to the theaters through Warner Brothers, and Netflix movies will take the same strides they have, which is some of them do have a short run in the theater beforehand. But our primary goal is to bring first-run movies to our members because that's what they're looking for. So initially, shit's going to be normal, but it looks like he is going to, over time, be shortening the theatrical windows even for Warner Brothers movies. Netflix teases that Warner Brothers theatrical release windows will evolve to become shorter. My pushback has been mostly in the fact of the long exclusive windows, which we don't really think are that consumer-friendly, says Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos. So yeah, the windows are definitely going to decrease. Now, I don't know that it's really that that he's worrying about it being consumer friendly. Well, you know what? I take that back. From his perspective, I imagine that shorter theater windows are more consumer friendly because if they keep them in the theaters for a shorter amount of time, consumers will be able to watch them, and then and then Netflix will be able to release something else into the theater, like right on the other one's heels, so products will get to the consumer more quickly, which is what I think he means by shortening the windows being consumer friendly. And let's face it, he's also counting on the fact that, our attention spans are shit these days, right? So, how are you guys feeling about what Sarandos is saying? How do you feel about shorter theater windows? Virtually guaranteed, just not immediately. Any thoughts on that shit before we move on to some more details? Any thoughts before we go on to more details? You don't like it? Yeah, a lot of people that, especially people that consider themselves cinephiles, hate it. I personally don't mind because I only ever really go to see movies once. Like, I'm not a repeat theater goer, not even for movies I love. Every Marvel movie I've only seen once in the theater. The only Star Wars movie I've seen twice in the theater is Revenge of the Sith. Although, speaking of Star Wars movies, did you guys hear, and I forgot to bring this up earlier during the, little bits of news stuff that I did at the beginning, but for the 50th anniversary of A New Hope, well, first of all, they were going to release it in April, and then they shoved it back to February. Don't understand that. But here's the key. Here's the part that I think is fucking awesome, and I am actually proud of Lucasfilm for making this decision. When they release A New Hope in the theaters for the 50th anniversary, it will not be the extended George Lucas added all this CG bullshit Greedo shoots first crap. It's just a remaster / digital upgrade of the original theatrical cut. Oh my God. I mean, I was going to be seated either way, but I will now, and we all will now get to see what people saw in theaters. I mean, obviously, much sharper, but what people got to see in theaters in 1977. I was a year and a half when that motherfucker came out in May of 77. Obviously, I didn't make it to the theater for that. I didn't make it to the theater for any of the OT. So, I mean, I was expecting, again, to get the extended Lucas version, which, is fine. But the original, the original fucking theatrical cut is what we're getting, baby, and oh my God. I'm allowed to be excited for this because it's Lucas. So I'm stoked for that shit. How do you guys feel? We're getting the original theatrical cut. How dope is that, guys? Let me know how dope it is, because it's dope. There's others to it. Fucking dope. Okay. I'd love to see new open theater. Oh, I'm seated. I don't care if I gotta sell a kidney. I'm in that bitch. All right. Chat. For a little perspective, here is a list of IP that Netflix is going to get with the purchase of Warner Brothers. Check this fucking list out. Friends. thought Friends was a CBS show. I didn't think Friends was a CBS. How'd they fucking get it? Friends was ABC, wasn't it? Or NBC? Oh well. Anyway, Oceans, in other words, Oceans 11, 12, 13, yada yada yada. Gremlins, Evil Dead, Mad Max, The Matrix, Beetlejuice, DC Comics, Adult Swim, Tom and Jerry, The Jetsons, Casablanca, Harry Potter, Citizen Kane, The Goonies, Scooby-Doo, Rick and Morty, Johnny Bravo, Looney Tunes, whoops, The Hangover, The Conjuring, The Sopranos, Robot Chicken, Mortal Kombat, HBO and HBO Max, Smiling Friends, what the fuck is that? The Flintstones, The Boondocks, Adventure Time, Sex and the City, Final Destination. By the way, I finally got around to watching Bloodlines the other day. That was fucking good. What up, Griff? Coming back in with the Discord link. Thank you, sir. By the way, with that friendly reminder from Griff, yes, join the Discord, but also hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. Pretty please. Thank you. Final Destination, Cartoon Network, Game of Thrones, Singing in the Rain, The Powerpuff Girls, A Clockwork Orange, The Big Bang Theory, Minecraft, the film rights, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Turner Classic Movies, The Original Wizard of Oz, Dune 3, only the distribution rights, Lord of the Rings, the film rights, every TT Games made Lego game, The Monsterverse, only distribution rights, Warner Brothers Games, including TT Games, NetherRealm, and Rocksteady. That's a lot of stuff, folks. That is a lot of stuff. Speaking of games, here's a little more specificity when it comes to games. Warner Brothers Games is included in Netflix acquisition, according to a Warner Brothers Discovery spokesperson. We knew that. That puts studios like NetherRealms, TT Games, Rocksteady, and its Batman Arkham series under Netflix. But DC licensing stays with DC. Any future Batman games would still require separate DC approval. So Netflix can do what it wants with all the games except the DC ones. DC still gets to decide what games involving DC characters get made or don't, or at least the Batman ones. Oh yes, another statement from Sarandos on theaters and stuff. Netflix boss Ted Sarandos was asked if they're destroying Hollywood. No, we're saving Hollywood. We're in a period of transition. Folks grew up thinking, I want to make movies on a gigantic screen and have strangers watch them and have them play in the theater for 2 months. It's an outdated concept. Boy, does Hollywood hate that fucking perspective. Although the fun part is he's not 100% wrong. Thought I got rid of that. Okay. Yeah. Now, chat. We are now going to dip into this here Variety article. I'm not sure if it's the same one that the quote came from, but it is all about why Netflix got chosen, which I find very interesting. So let's check this shit out. The safer bet. Why Zaslav and the Warner Brothers board favored Netflix in a turbulent time for legacy Hollywood. After a few marathon days of telephone and video calls, emails, and text message chains, the $82.7 billion agreement for Netflix by Warner Brothers and HBO Max was clinched Thursday night around 10 p.m. Eastern Time. But there was no chance for high fives or a group huddle among the managers of the freshly betrothed media giants. In modern fashion, the sale negotiations were mostly conducted at arm's length via phone and electronic communications with, with Netflix and Warner Brothers executives and legal teams spread across New York, LA, DC, and other locales. Among the final hurdles to securing the initial agreement was Warner Brothers' insistence that Netflix commit to a record-setting $5.8 billion breakup fee should the deal run into resistance, regulatory or otherwise. Now, if you recall from one of the tweets from towards the beginning of this, Paramount offered a $5 billion an even $5 billion breakup fee. Warner Brothers made Netflix commit to a $5.8 billion one. So they got another $800K, potential another $800K out of Netflix than they would have got for Paramount if something happened with that one. Opposition to the deal assembled swiftly and fiercely from unions, consumer watchdogs, and politicos on both sides of the aisle. This merger must be blocked, the Writers Guild of America urged on Friday. Yeah, well, you guys are capable of achieving not a fucking thing. In the end, about 6 weeks after Paramount CEO David Ellison's pushy overtures put the studio in play, the Warner Brothers board got what it wanted: a pedigreed market-leading buyer with firm financial foundation and a clear strategic need to make the most of Warner Brothers and HBO. On the surface, the Netflix deal would seem an echo of the AOL Time Warner transaction completed in January 2001. A high-flying beacon of what was then called New Media buys a legacy entertainment company with brands that seem to be ripe for exploitation in new ways. The AOL takeover of Time Warner, of course, was nothing less than disastrous. The grand thesis of the merger unraveled in barely a year's time after the dot-com bust and the 9/11 terrorist attacks. This time around, the Netflix acquisition signals the near conquest of Southern California's most dynamic industry by one of the world-beating tech giants that sprang from Northern California. Warner Brothers board leaned toward the Netflix bid because the company has such a strong balance sheet. Its stock has been one of the most consistent and durable performers over a turbulent decade for media and entertainment. Unlike AOL in 2001, when its growth was powered by offering basic dial-up internet access, Netflix has a strong underlying business model that can't easily be outmoded by new tech or undercut on price by rivals. TV shows and movies are, after all, very, very sticky. Ask any Bridgerton or Stranger Things fan. Netflix's long horizon outlook stands in contrast to Paramount Skydance, which began its pursuit of Warner Brothers shortly after Skydance Media sealed its $8 billion acquisition of Paramount Communications. It's a sign of the times that the parent company of Paramount Pictures and CBS, two entertainment institutions that have been around for more than 100 years, are a bigger risk than a much younger venture that has been in the original programming game for about a dozen years. That is kind of bass-backwards. But like they said, it's a sign of the time. Paramount Skydance faces an uphill climb in turning around the fortunes of its studio and legacy cable networks in restoring strong free cash flow. The company is also carrying more debt on its balance sheet than Netflix, proportionate to its earnings power. So they're not necessarily carrying more debt in whole numbers, but the ratio between its debt and its earnings is not as good as Netflix. All of these factors were a consideration for the Warner Brothers board. In the case of a black swan event for the macroeconomy, how would Paramount fare? The lack of certainty there helped sway the Warner Brothers board members that Netflix was the better fit and safer option for shareholders than Paramount or even Comcast, which was the third contender for the studio in the whirlwind bidding process that began in earnest in early November. The process quickly crystallized into a test of wills between two Davids, Ellison and Warner Brothers CEO Zaslav. There's been endless industry chatter that Zaslav was angling for a deal that left him with a high executive perch in the resulting company. Ellison slammed the Warner Brothers leader in a legal letter sent to Zaslav on Thursday, accusing him of having abandoned the semblance and reality of a fair transaction process in order to steer the deal to Netflix. Warner Brothers board members were already put off by Paramount's unsolicited offer, and the whispers around Hollywood and D.C. that only Ellison and his familial connections to the Trump White House would be able to secure regulatory approval for such a big merger. But Donald Trump is famous for working his phone, and Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos is definitely in his contacts. President Trump respects Netflix's rags to riches growth as a modern American business success story. And while Trump often expresses hostility to Hollywood as a bastion of touchy-feely liberalism, the reality is that he has long been fascinated by the industry, especially after he became a TV star via NBC's The Apprentice. Sources close to the situation emphasize that even in Hollywood, ego takes a backseat to business rationale when the enterprise value tops $82 billion. I would fucking hope so. Netflix and Warner Brothers leaders, including Zaslav, are preparing to make a strenuous case for the consumer benefits of the deal as well as the positive impact that the enlarged company will have on the creative community. Zaslav Sarandos and Netflix co-CEO Greg Peters are bracing for a long fight. The leaders are projecting a closing timeline of as much as 18 months. Yep, we just read that. Given the scrutiny on the companies and the political crosscurrents. There are points to be gained for elected officials on the left and right by railing against another big media merger. That could make for a long, drawn-out battle in Washington with the Federal Trade Commission and Justice Department. The FCC, Federal Communications Commission, is not expected to play much, if any, role in this review because of the nature of the assets involved. Warner Brothers does not own broadcast TV stations, a la Paramount, or cable systems, a la Comcast. Sources said the Netflix and Warner Brothers teams are confident that on the antitrust merits, it's hard to prove the enlarged company would have anything close to a monopoly power over the content marketplace, particularly at a time when Netflix, HBO, and others have for real competition for the hearts and minds of younger viewers from the likes of YouTube and TikTok. Wow. They're going to bring social media up into this argument. And the fun part is they're really not wrong. Especially when it comes to the younger viewers. Like them kids are all about the TikToks and the YouTubes. Way more than their parents and aunts and uncles and grandparents and great-grandparents. We are definitely in a YouTube and TikTok generation, folks. Gen A, YouTube and TikTok. Young Gen Z, YouTube and TikTok. Like, let's be real. That is how it is, and that is a valid point, at least in my mind. In their first presentations about the deal on Friday, Netflix and Warner Brothers have emphasized how little overlap there is between the companies. Netflix has stated its intention to maintain HBO Max and Warner Brothers studio operations as standalone businesses under the Netflix tent. Well, there you go. HBO Max will live on as HBO Max. Anyone who has experienced a Hollywood merger in recent decades knows that no matter what is said in the moment, the long-term arc of any business leans towards streamlining efficiencies and eliminating redundancies. Consolidation will eventually affect some on the list of accomplished senior executives who are spread among Netflix, Warner Brothers, and HBO. For the most senior executive at Warner Brothers, however, the future does seem to be coming into focus. Sarandos and Peters are firmly installed as Netflix co-CEOs. Zaslav has been telling friends and colleagues that he's focused on helping to get the merger to the finish line and to deliver a healthy Warner Brothers and HBO Max to Sarandos when it's time to hand over the keys. Plus, he's going to get about $500 million for this. Zaslav. If the deal goes through, as it was outlined to investors today, Zaslav will eventually lose his CEO perch, but he'll gain many, many millions, 500, as will a host of senior Warner Brothers and HBO executives through stock options, as well as the satisfaction of having gone out on his own terms. So, chat, according to this article at least, Netflix was chosen for purely business reasons. Basically, the numbers looked better for Netflix overall than they did for Paramount, even though Paramount was offering technically more cash per share by, $275, $225, something like that. They were offering the $30 Daddy Zaz wanted. But Daddy Zaz is like, I'll take a couple bucks less a share because Netflix's bottom lines are way more stable than Paramount's bottom line. Pretty much what that boils down to. Now, speaking of executives, Daddy Zaz, no plans right now for him to lead shit. He's going to take his magnificently large bonus and go the fuck away, which I'm totally fine with. I don't like that motherfucker. However, couple more. Well, here's a few more little details. Number one. Okay, stop it. Little news about Mr. Gunn and Mr. Safran, because one of the biggest questions, at least for us nerds, we nerds, I should say, us nerds. What the fuck does this mean for DC? Is Gunn gonna stay? Is Gunn gonna go? Is the fucking Snyderverse coming back? Is Zack Snyder gonna be involved at all? Are they gonna bring in a whole fucking brand new? What the fuck is gonna happen with DC? Well, we have a couple of answers. We have a couple of answers. I don't have no idea why the fuck I even tried to say anything after that. Lich. Anyway, we have a couple of answers. Answer number one. David Zaslav on the future of DC leadership following the Netflix acquisition, praising the direction James Gunn and Peter Safran have taken the franchise. The work of James and Peter, their creative vision, it's compelling, and a great economic return. There is no storytelling content that we have that provides a bigger palette than DC, and there's nobody around right now who can tell these stories with the same imagination and excitement, David Zaslav said. Their contracts have now been extended through spring 2027. Okay. So, Gunn and Safran going to be around till spring 2027. Through spring 2027. So let's say that means they are good through the end of May. May 31st, 2027. We'll just say, spring's generally considered to be March through May, and summer starts in June. So we'll say end of May, beginning of June, they gone. At least so far as their contract is now. Okay? So, basically, now, Man of Tomorrow comes out in the summer, but obviously that should be done being made. So basically what that means is Gunn is on the clock. Gunn, from this point, well, when the acquisition happened, December 5th, well, that came out yesterday afternoon. So starting from December 5th, 2025, he has until May 31st, 2027, for now. He could get extended again, but as we're speaking of as of current information, okay? So he has from December 7th. Oh, Pearl Harbor Day. Shit. He has from December 7th until basically we're going to go with May 31st, December 7th, 2025 to May 31st, 2027 to make the DCU look as good as he possibly can and pray for an extension beyond that. And this is the current known slate. Movies and TV. Which we already talked about, but we got to bring it up again. We have, in 2026, in the theater, we have Supergirl and Clayface. On HBO, we have Lanterns. And I think that's fucking it, bro. Oh, yeah. And technically the Batman too, but that's not Gunn. But yeah, so Supergirl, Clayface, and Lanterns in 2027. What the fuck? God damn it. How'd that happen? That was weird. Okay, anyway. So, yeah. Supergirl, Clayface, Man of Tomorrow. Well, Supergirl and Clayface and Lanterns in 2026. And then under Gunn, Man of Tomorrow in 2027. And under DC in general, but really Matt Reeves and Luca and Abdi, who have been extended to 2029, I think. the Batman Part 2 in 2027. Okay? Now, Man of Tomorrow actually hits theaters in, when is it? June or July? So technically, Man of Tomorrow will hit theaters right after Gunn and Safran's current contract is set to expire. So if Gunn wants to possibly save his job or get an extension, he has essentially a year and a half to get into production and mostly out of production, ready to go. He needs to get the Trinity out, in my opinion. He needs to get Wonder Woman and Batman, the DCU Wonder Woman and the DCU Batman, not Reeves Batman, his own fucking Batman, and he needs to get those movies going and ready to go before he's out. And they need to be good enough for him to show to the Netflix execs and be like, look at these, see how dope they are, extend me again so I can keep going. That's just my opinion on how he can save his job and extend it beyond May of 2027. Now, another thing about timing is that Netflix reportedly has to honor existing Warner Brothers contracts, which would guarantee theatrical releases for DC movies until 2029. So, again, and right around 2029 is when shit that's, in production in 2027 would come out. So really, even if they don't extend Gunn could pull a fucking Kathleen Kennedy and have shit going for him that, regardless of whether his contract gets extended, is still going to hit the theaters because Netflix is obligated to put that shit out through 2029. So whatever Gunn gets started in 27, as long as it's ready to go in the theater by 2029, it's going to hit the theater. We will see it. But Gunn could no longer be able to make DC movies after spring of 2027, and the complete Gunverse itself could be done in the theater in 2029. Now we come to what is going to happen with DC. Well, first of all, who's going to be making movies and running DC starting summer 2027 if they do not extend Gunn? Well, no fucking clue. Now, obviously, there is a group of people out there who are very, very adamant and rabid and, frankly, a bit psycho about who should take over DC when Gunn is gone. We know what name is out there that's being shouted to the rafters, that's been automatically celebrated with Netflix's purchase, and that is one Zack Snyder. You restore the Snyderverse people are going ape shit right now. They think this is now a guarantee that Zack is back. Yada, yada, yada. Well, guess what, folks? There is no guarantee of that. Rebel Moon sucked, and Netflix has already killed 5 of Snyder's projects. I don't know how many Snyder Bros are aware of that. I don't know if they're like in such a cult mentality that like salient information like that just goes right over their head, like some other groups I could name. They choose to forget about facts. Actually, that's a lot of groups. There's a lot of crazy people out there who are like so obsessed with their shit that like when facts come up that dispute their view of their shit, they just ignore them. And they emote and scream and shout. Yeah. So yeah, obviously the Snyder Bros are like rabid for Gunn to be gone spring 27 and for Zack to take over. But again, the evidence is actually not in favor of that happening. Again, Rebel Moon was ass, and Netflix has canceled like 5 of Snyder's other projects that he had going for them or would have going for them. They're like, nah, man, we're good. So, to me, at least, and I like Snyder's work. I love Man of Steel. I had nowhere near the problems with BVS that a lot of people did, but even the extended cut of BVS is better than the theatrical cut. I'm a big fan of that. And of course, the Snyder cut of Justice League is, epic, fucking amazing. But yeah, like the Snyder Bros, and I know a couple that I fuck with. There's a few reasons, and we're gonna go over more here in a little bit. There's some reasons that the Snyder Bros should not count their Snyders before they're hatched. Like they need to pause their celebration. Like hardcore, they need to pause that shit. Because we're about to discuss some shit. We're about to go over an article and then another tweet, which is going to go into detail about why the Snyder Bros should probably calm the fuck down. All right? So, we talked about an article from the New York Post the other day. Well, now we have another one. Now, this is going to sound pretty similar to what we went over in the last article, but trust me, there's plenty of new shit in here. Okay? Just hang with me. Trust me. Trust. This is new stuff. God, what a clown. How Warner Brothers Discovery CEO decided to sell to Netflix, and we went into that in great detail in that other article. And why the media giant's auction may not be over. What? It may not be over? My. Tell me more, Charles Gasparino. In the end, it came down to 75 cents a share, and that means this ain't over. On Thursday morning, Warner Brothers Discovery received a $30 a share all-cash takeover bid for the media giant from Paramount Skydance, sources told the Post. Meanwhile, Netflix offered to buy Warner Brothers Discovery's Warner Brothers Studio and HBO Max streaming business in a deal that effectively values the whole company at $30.75 a share. The race looked like a squeaker, but now, obviously, that whole other article said it was 27 something, right? So where'd this come from? We'll see. The race looked like a squeaker, but Warner Brothers board and its CEO Zaslav announced less than 24 hours later that they had accepted the bid from Netflix. Suffice it to say, Paramount Skydance's owners, Hollywood mogul David Ellison and his billionaire father Larry Ellison, aren't happy. You think? The Ellisons, in fact, are livid, and they are now angling for a counterattack, I am told. They also believe they can win this battle by taking their case directly to Warner Brothers shareholders, according to 3 people with direct knowledge of the matter. They are really pissed over at Paramount Skydance, said a media executive with direct knowledge of the matter. They think this was a rigged deal process because of the friendship between the CEOs, and they're betting the shareholders will be pissed when they find out what went down. You know what? I'm going to fucking go there. What is it with, like, Trump and his buddies and everything being rigged when they lose? It's fucking bitch boy pussy behavior. Snowflake. Anyway. Couldn't help myself, but I'm leaving it there. Those CEOs would be Zaslav and Netflix chief Ted Sarandos. They have a different view of the events that unfolded over the past 48 hours, according to people with knowledge of the matter. Zaslav gave them 6 tries, and they still couldn't beat Netflix's bid, said a person close to the Warner Brothers chief. 6? Oh, that's right, because they did 3 before the official thing. And then there was the 3 official bids. Yeah. 6 tries. Damn! Despite all the static, Zaslav, known as Zaz in media circles, is said to be open for another counterbid from the Ellisons. Really? My camera froze. God damn it. What is the problem? All right. Okay, still working. Open. Let me read that again. Despite all the static, Zaslav is said to be open for another counterbid from the Ellisons. Anything is possible before any merger closes, particularly one like this, where the competition was some of the fiercest in recent corporate history, according to people close to the Warner Brothers chief. If the Ellisons come back with more than $30 a share, possibly around $35 that pays off the Netflix breakup fee, they could be the owners. And it's very possible they will, and when they do, this is not over. We will have to sit down and think about what to do next. Zaslav is telling people even if the Ellisons want back in, he doubts they have the wherewithal to mount a serious new offer. Among the reasons he turned to Netflix is that he was concerned that Paramount Skydance is not making any money and was unsure of who is guaranteeing its bid, that a person with direct knowledge of his thinking. Since Netflix signed a $5.8 billion breakup fee and has billions in cash, its offer is, quote-unquote, guaranteed, this person adds. We know we're getting the money from Netflix, said one Warner Brothers official who asked not to be mentioned by name. Likewise, Zaz was said to be impressed with the size of Netflix's operation. It has a market cap of above $400 billion compared to Paramount Skydance's $14.6 billion. Yeah, that's a bit of a difference. Holy. That's, well, I mean, what's that, 3? Let's round it up to 15. That's like 2.5 times the market cap. I'm sorry. 14.6 times 10. That's like 250% more. Wait. Times 10 is 146. And then you gotta, even if you make that 150, that's another 3. That's like around 30 times. There we go. I finally figured it out. Netflix's market cap is just shy of 30 times of Skydance's. Jesus Christ. Thus, Paramount Skydance needed to rely on the $259 billion net worth of Larry Ellison or its roughly $70 billion offer for Warner Brothers, which have been declining since most of it is tied up in Oracle stock that has taken a hit along with the correction in AI shares. Ooh. Paramount Skydance, meanwhile, believes Zaslav is playing games because it clearly has the money to meet its $72 billion offer plus its deal. Larry Ellison is still enormously rich, worth more than $250 billion. This person said Warner Brothers stopped communicating with Paramount's bankers in recent days, preventing them from going above the $30 share price they put down. Paramount believes Netflix will offer Zaz a cushy job as part of the deal. People close to Zaz say no job has been offered, nor does Zaslav want one when this is over. That was mentioned in the previous article. He will retire with plenty of money and probably do some investment work with his longtime mentor, cable business pioneer, John Malone. Oh, good God. Daddy Ellison, son Ellison. Daddy Ellison does look like a fucking prick, doesn't he? Holy shit. That is such a punchable fucking face. Is that not a punchable fucking face? Holy crap. Yes, Zaz. Wait a minute. Where'd we end up? Okay, yeah, he didn't. Yeah, Zaz doesn't plan on doing shit. Well, for now. We'll see. That's the word. Yes, Zaslav and Serranos are chummy, and Zaslav barely knows either of the Ellisons. But that's not what moved the deal in Netflix's direction. People close to the Warner Brothers chief say the Netflix deal contains enough cash and guaranteed so-called collared stock that its $20.75 offer is the equivalent of cash for just the studio and streaming service. The spin-off of the cable assets is worth at least $3 a share, bringing the total offer to at least $30.75 a share, or almost $74 billion. Now, that's some accounting magic. As previously reported by the Post, the Ellisons had drawn up plans to possibly go hostile if Netflix won the bidding war, arguing that Netflix-Warner Brothers combo faces fierce, years-long antitrust opposition from the Trump administration and state attorneys general because of the combined entity's dominance in streaming. Yeah. Plans to possibly go hostile means they will go directly to the shareholders and be like, hey, guys, here's the $30 a share that the board wanted. The government likes us more than it likes Netflix. They're not going to be able to get past them. You should tell your board to fuck off and tell them to sell to us. It's basically what that boils down to. While no final decision on a hostile bid has been made, the Ellisons believe they have made the superior bid in the buyout drama. Netflix's $27.75, 80% in cash offer for Warner Brothers Studio and HBO Max streaming service is filled with holes, they plan to argue. It relies on adding roughly $3 a share into its valuation, or $30.75 a share, but only after Warner Brothers spins off the rest of the company, namely its cable assets like CNN and Discovery in a previously planned deal. The Ellisons also believe the cable assets are worth closer to $2 a share, which drops that to $29.75, making theirs the highest bid. A rep for Warner Brothers had no comment, as did one for Paramount. Zaslav, by the way, believes the regulatory obstacles for Netflix have been minimized by Sarandos, who in recent weeks is said to have met with President Trump and developed a quote-unquote friendship with him. Ooh. During those meetings, Sarandos has argued the merits of the Netflix-Warner Brothers deal, its absence of overlap, we've heard that a few times, meaning less job losses, its ability to produce movies in the U.S., and that with competition from social media, the antitrust concerns of combining the third largest streamer with Netflix are overblown. See, there we go, the social media thing again. A White House rep had no immediate comment, and a Netflix press official declined repeated requests for comment on Sarandos' conversations with Trump. So, chat, even setting aside the governmental considerations, which do, even with Sarandos meeting with Trump, do still appear to be in play, as evidenced by this tweet, also from Charles Gasparino, the author of the article we just read. Breaking. Warner Brothers is far more likely to collect its $5.8 billion breakup fee than getting this Netflix deal through the regulatory process. A Trump administration regulator speaking on the condition of anonymity. So according to the regulator that got a hold of Mr. Gasparino there, again, who is the author of the previous article, where he brought up that Sarandos has been in Washington building a friendship with Trump, which basically means getting out the chapstick and the mouthwash and sucking that ass and gargling them nuts. According to this regulator, Sarandos' meetings were evidently not super effective. Unless this person didn't know about them or does not appear to, if they know about them, know the results of them, as it were. However, this is pretty blatant. No matter how you look at it, that's a pretty blatant statement. La, da, 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 da. But yeah, so Sarandos Sarandos can go kiss all the ass he wants. Evidently, this regulator is feeling like it did not work. So, regardless of, at least currently, Netflix is winning. They're not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. The government is still in play by a lot. And according to Gasparino's article, Zaslav would be willing to listen to yet another offer from Paramount and allow them to come in over the top. Specifically, if the offer is what he alluded to, and that would include enough monies to pay off Netflix's breakup fee. So basically, what it boils down to is we can speculate about what's going to happen with DC and anything else regarding Netflix regarding what we can speculate all we want about what'll happen with Netflix purchasing Warner Brothers, but the reality of the situation is this shit ain't over. This shit ain't over by a long shot. Again, Zaslav would take yet another counter offer from the Ellisons. It ain't over. And we have actual federal regulators hitting up Gasparino and being like, there's a better shot of Netflix getting $5.8 billion from Warner Brothers than this motherfucking sale going through. So, what this boils down to is, yeah, Netflix has it for now. Okay? For now. But it's not guaranteed. The Ellisons can still... Actually, they have a couple choices. Again, they can try and come up over the top of Netflix. They can go directly to the shareholders in a hostile bid. They can have a Trump nut gargling contest with Sarandos. And see if they can toss the salad better. And so the administration will stop it. And then who knows what the fuck's going to happen at that point. Now, Netflix, while they obviously do want Warner Brothers, even if it all goes south, if the Ellisons come in over the top, if there's a long, protracted battle with the government, Netflix has at least effectively delayed the Ellisons' expansion in Hollywood. Now, whether that's for business reasons, or because Sarandos doesn't like the Ellisons, or maybe both, they've at least, if nothing else, they have slowed down what appeared to be the steamrolling of Hollywood by the Ellisons and Paramount. So while a lot of Hollywood is freaking the fuck out about Netflix's view on theatrical windows and whatnot, Hollywood was also not super fond of Paramount taking. Hollywood isn't fond of Warner Brothers selling at all. I mean, let's be real. When Paramount was in the lead, the guilds were, freaking out about it and promising to lobby regulators to prevent that. Now that it appears that Netflix has it, they're doing the exact same thing. They just don't want a merger, period. Is basically what that boils down. The guilds don't want a merger of any kind. They'll fight. They will fight any proposed merger. Fill in the name of company here. They just don't want it. Period. So, however, I think they're fucked no matter which way in terms of being able to stop anything. I don't know how fucked they'd be if Netflix wins. I don't know how fucked they'd be if Paramount wins. I just know in terms of being able to stop anything, they're fucked. The guilds aren't going to be able to stop shit. If there's any group that I guarantee this administration doesn't care about, it's the guilds. All of whom are rabidly anti-Trump. So let's face it. One of those two is going to get Warner Brothers because the government will be more than happy to be like, oh, hey, guilds. Fuck you and your anti-Trump shit. Warner Brothers is going to somebody. Like, they have no shot. They can lobby all the regulators they want. They can file all the lawsuits they want. It will amount to absolutely nothing. Because this administration despises the guilds. And they would approve the deal out of spite. Like, honestly. But yeah, no, this sale is happening. It doesn't matter what the guilds want. Because the administration will say, fuck you. Like the regulators, they can try and lobby the regulators. They will be ignored. They can try and sue, and then it'll go all the way to the Supreme Court, which, oh, by the way, has a 6-3 conservative majority. And of the 6-3, and of those 6 conservatives, how many of those are Trump appointed? Okay, so Trump has appointed half of those conservative justices. Oh, sorry. 5 of the 6. Oh no, that's federal judges. Never mind. Yeah. So yeah, 6 of that conservative, or half of that conservative majority on the Supreme Court are Trump appointees, and the other 3 are just highly conservative anyway. So the guilds are going to get nowhere with regulators. They can sue all they want, and it'll eventually get to the Supreme Court, which will then tell them to fuck off. The guilds are fucked. It's just that simple. The guilds are fucked. The only question is it's not whether Warner Brothers will sell. The only question is, and despite how things look right now, the question is still up in the air, is to whom will they be sold? Right now it looks like Netflix, but Netflix has a lot of obstacles to overcome. First one is regulators with that homie's attitude that talked to Gasparino is like, they may as well get that $5.8 billion ready because this shit ain't happening. Basically what they said. So, chat, that was a lot of detail, a couple big articles, and a lengthy statement from Netflix that we went over. So I feel I owe it to you to sum up. And the summary is this. Netflix, for now, will be the purchaser of Warner Brothers. The guilds don't like it. Well, the guilds don't like the sale, period. No matter who ends up with it, they're going to do whatever it is they're going to try to do to stop it and fail miserably. But right now, Netflix is the official purchaser of Warner Brothers as it stands. They have to get through the government. Zaslav is willing to take yet another higher counter offer from Paramount, so Paramount could stop it, could take over Netflix in 2 ways. 1, they can make a higher counter offer. 2, they could employ their hostile takeover strategy. And while they're doing both of those, Larry could be in Washington, D.C., using up a couple cases of chapstick on Trump's ass. Of course, Sarandos could be doing the same thing. So, I mean, hell, they could split time on Trump's cheeks and have a contest to see which cheek Trump feels like is getting the better job of being sucked. You know? But yeah, TLDR is Netflix has it for now. But they got to get past counteroffers from Paramount, a hostile takeover from Paramount, and the government. And as it specifically concerns DC Studios in the DCU, Gunn and Safran have until basically the end of May 2027 to get done what they want to get done. And Warner Brothers movies will release through 2029. So the soonest we will get a non-Gunn DCU movie, if they don't get extended, which is still a possibility, we'll be getting essentially Gunverse movies through 2029. So the soonest we would get a non-Gunverse movie would be 2030. And Gunn, again, has until basically the end of May 2027 to get the ball rolling so that there are Gunverse movies coming out into 2029. And if he wants to save his job, this is my opinion now. Now we're in the opinion section. If Gunn wants to get extended past spring 2027, he needs to get Wonder Woman and Batman out. The only thing that'll save his ass is the Trinity, in my opinion. So there you have it, folks. Netflix has it for now, but they have large obstacles to overcome. And as it comes to DC, Gunn has until the end of spring to get some shit, end of spring 2027, to get some shit going to attempt to get an extension. But even if he doesn't get extended, his movies will be seen through 2029. Assuming it's Netflix. That's if it's Netflix. Still don't know what the fuck would happen if it ends up being Paramount. But if it's Netflix, he's good till the end of spring 2027. And anything he gets going between now and then will release through 2029. And there you have it. Thoughts, chat? Because that's it. And it's 1 o'clock. So I'm going to get out of here pretty soon now that we're through all that shit. But what do you think, chat? What are your thoughts? Will Netflix win out through the whole thing and keep it? Will the Ellisons find a way to boot them out? Can they make it past the government? What do you think, chat? Who will win out in the end? And how long will Gunn survive? Whoever purchases it, whoever ends up being the final winner. What do you think, guys? Nope. And I guess the Melvinites are on break from me. Oh, darn. Right, you guys think about it. Pretty please throw some engagement in the chat. Share your thoughts. I'm going to pee one more time. Well, they can't legally sign a deal like that. They'd all have to be like that. That's a good way to get in actual legal trouble. It would all have to happen behind the scenes with a lot of chapstick and lube and stuff like that. still think it's going to end up being Paramount. Very well could be. Very well could be. Very well could be. Anybody else have any final thoughts? Because if not, I'm getting the fuck out of this bitch. Anything? Yeah, I mean, it's a distinct possibility. They are pretty tight. Ellison and Trump are tight. All right. Thank you, Brooke. Okay, folks. I'm going to go ahead and get the fuck on out of this bitch. I realize that was a shit ton of information. I hope you didn't get too bored. But I think it's important to have the full picture of what's going on. That way it doesn't seem like I'm just popping off at the mouth. I like to provide evidence. And I feel like I provided some motherfucking evidence. Hope you guys, again, didn't mind all the detail. I hope you still enjoyed yourself in this stream. I hope you did find it informative. I hope you actually gained some good perspective out of this. Like, honestly. But, yeah. I think it's, informed speculation is the best speculation, I guess, is kind of what I'm trying to get at, chat. So, I understand if it was a bit too much of an information dump and you got bored. I hope that's not the case, but I don't blame you if it is. But again, I just feel it's important to have all the deets to come up with informed speculation and informed hypotheses, as it were. So, hope you all had a good time. I hope you didn't mind the information dump. And I hope you have a good rest of your weekend, of course, and a good beginning to your week. We will see what developments pop up between now and then, both in terms of this whole Warner Brothers big old fucking pile of drama, and of course, what new developments we get when it comes to Marvel and Doomsday. And of course, any developments we get in DC, some, casting news or what have you for Man of Tomorrow. Maybe we'll get a lead on who actually they're going to hire for Brainiac. Maybe we'll get lucky and get some more information over who ScarJo's going to be in the Batman Part 2. We'll see. But whatever comes out at the beginning of next week, we will talk about come Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So come on back then. And we'll break down everything that happens between now and then. We'll keep you informed. We'll keep you up to date. And hopefully the new information will be somewhat less dry than what we went over tonight. So, thank you for being here. You guys are the dopest. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your attention. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you just being here. Thank you. So have a good rest of your night. Have a good Sunday. Have a good beginning to your week. We'll see you Wednesday at 9 Eastern. Much love, y'all. Bye. Well, chat, again, ton of information, but I still think it was a damn good stream. I think being informed nerds is the best way to be nerds. So I hope you had a good time. I hope you didn't get bored. I hope you're the type of chat that appreciates info. But either way, thanks for hanging. You guys are the dopest. Time is precious, and you choose to spend it here in the basement with me, which I still find kind of crazy, but amazing. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for being here repeatedly. Much love, y'all. Have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you Wednesday night at 9. Peace.